grew up in San Jose and came from a great town, great family. Me and my dad and all my friends really bonded over sports, so that was really what I was into. My senior year in high school, I went out for the team and I ended up getting cut, and that floored me. So immediately the next day, I went to school looking for another crowd. Things quickly progressed because it felt like I didn't fit in, and I was afraid that I wasn't going to make this team. When acting a certain way and talking a certain way wasn't working, I quickly started to obsess and started to think, what can I do to hold on to my image? And so I got this idea and says, I know what I'll do next. I'll rob a store. And I eventually did it, not only once, but twice, and a third time. And so the third time, I went in and I put myself in a situation that I felt like I was losing control. And there I was in that moment of thinking back and forth, I can't stay and I can't go. So I did the only thing I knew how to do because I couldn't let go. I did both. I pulled the trigger and I ran. 2 days later, I confessed completely to the detectives, and I remember calling home to my family, telling them how sorry I was, and I remember stopping and saying, do you still love me? And I remember something so specific that they said. They told me, not only do we love you, but we'll get through this. We will get through this. Not you will get through this, we. And in that moment, I really realized God had shown me for the first time, and in the best way he could, and the best way I could understand at the time, that love never fails, even when I do. 2 days later, I was arraigned in Superior Court at 18 years old for attempted robbery and first-degree murder. I remember in the next few days just crying out to God, help me, help me, help me, help me. This wasn't supposed to happen. This is not who I am. I thought it would all go away. I thought the walls would fall down around me and I'd walk out and this would just be erased, but that didn't happen. So 1 year later, after going through the process, I was eventually sentenced, then at 19 years old, to 28 years to life in state prison. So in 2009, I eventually got my first opportunity to ask for a second chance, for that freedom. And when I was sentenced in 1993, no one had ever come home under a 28-year-to-life sentence. So people would tell me there's not a chance, but I never stopped believing. So I went into the hearing in 2009 and essentially just put my heart on the table. It led to a recess where they eventually deliberated. No sooner than I got comfortable in the chair, they said, okay, we're back on record, and we have concluded that the inmate is suitable for parole. Just after they had told me we had found you suitable for parole, I heard a voice, as clear as I'm speaking now, say, I've been with you this whole time. And that's when I lost it. That's when I had my white light moment, but in reverse. That's when God showed me the things that I did not understand, that he had been with me this whole time, that despite the pain, despite the shame, despite the failure, he didn't let me go. He didn't abandon me. I think the greatest lesson, the greatest insight, the greatest understanding that God gave me in my darkest hour was, even though we may feel there are no answers around us, and we're alone, and we may be asking why, and we have to keep up the dance on the outside, because we're never alone. You could be surrounded by people and feel so alone, be in such a dark place. But if we keep that darkness within us and we do not share it, we do not open up, God's grace can't come in. I'm getting the opportunity to speak to people one-on-one, or getting invited to Stanford and speak to a group of kids who are there for the day at a camp. These are great opportunities, and they're such a blessing. So when you just put your heart on the table, it's amazing how that vulnerability can really set you free, and how God can really step up and do amazing things and inspire people. And that's really where my heart is. It's just to continue to share God's story.